everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will be working on this vintage antique style drawstring tiny purse. This is super tiny purse, and I showed you in a previous video, and I also mentioned that we will be making one, so today's the day. Let's get started on this. Now this little drawstring purse is going to open about this far. Let's see, closed. Let's measure. I brought some goodies in here too. Let's measure the bottom. So it's almost 4 inches across on the bottom of the purse. So we will measure out the circle here in a few minutes. I have tried a square and it just doesn't look as good. And I even made a few different shapes, and I like the circle the best. So I hope that you all are doing well and are having a beautiful day today so far. I was able to hop up on here today, and I would love to hang out with you all. So before we get started on this purse, I made an applique flower pin cushion for my pins, and I just want to share this with you. And it is all hand sewn applique. It's a very heavy wedding applique that I had tea dyed, and I tea dyed some vintage satin as well. And it's heavy, so it's perfect for a pin cushion. So I put all my pins, a lot of my pearl pins in here that I like to work with when I sew, but just some inspiration for you. So I hand sewn all the applique in here and then wrapped it into a rose. So it fits beautifully on my craft desk, and then I lay it on top of this antique ostrich feather. It is so pretty, isn't it? Don't you just love using pretty elements on your craft desk to inspire you? So use whatever inspires you, right, on your craft desk. So it's always fun to display and get some inspiration from. So, okay, so what we need for this little drawstring purse is this one. You can use about anything. I even use old tablecloths. You can use whatever kind of fabric or whatever kind of lace you want to use. It could be almost anything that you want to use. You can even avoid the sewing machine and find like this, like a doily tablecloth, and cut it down to size and use the holes to put in your ribbon for the closure. So there are many ways you can do this. You can always use fabric tack and glue this, but I wouldn't recommend using fabric tack on satin. It bleeds through every time I've done it. And remember, we made the mini tiny journal to fit in our tiny purse. So this will go with a little bit bigger of a journal, and they will be ready tomorrow. So look for that video. So this is a tiny antique style drawstring purse is what I call it. I found it in a book and in a museum, and I had a purse in the book, and it's displayed beautifully in a museum out in California. So that's what inspired me. So this kind of purse has been around for a very long time. Okay, so let's just put her over there. And here are the circles. And this is not cut perfectly either. It doesn't need to be when we do this. Because you'll see. So I have just a piece of cotton that I tea dyed and a piece of vintage satin that I tea-dyed. I love the tea-dyed look, but you can use whatever colors you want, and you can use, there's so many different ways. Now, I purchased a 30-inch doily from Brenda, and I will do another purse video on that where you don't have to sew. So that will be coming up very soon. So it'll be so simple. So what we want to do is take your 2 circles and always put your outside down, okay? So there's the outside of the satin and the inside of the satin there. And then you want to figure out which side you want to draw it in. Now I'm going to measure this for you. So I just used a porcelain plate to do an outlining of my circle that I thought I needed, and it's 8.5 inches wide all the way around. And okay, so to keep this simple for myself, that's why I'd like to share my ideas. There is a very professional way that you can pin it all the way around, but I don't want to do that. That's just too much time. Too much time for me. I like to eyeball everything. Everything looks vintage that way for me, but everybody has their own little styles. So I'm going to use some of my needles here, and you want to come on the inside here. So we are going to sew 2 lines all the way around the purse. So the first line we are going to do first, the bottom line down here. So just kind of eyeball it where you want to bring in the drawstring, and then pin where you want to put your bottom line. So I would like to put my bottom line about right there, because the ribbon that we're going to put, that we're going to insert into the drawstring purse, is only 1/8 inch. And I got this from Walmart. And you can get them at Hobby Lobby. You can get them online. You can get them anywhere, really. But this is for the small purse. And then, oh, and then you want to do another pin on the other side. Let me make sure. And then you want to do this. So we're going to do this because this is going to be our first sew all the way across here. And actually, we don't need to do this one. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking of my other drawstring purse. Okay, so let's do the other side, and we kind of want to line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? It doesn't. That one looks a little low too. I kind of want to fix that, so I want to adjust that just a little bit. So you just want to bring your needle here. So I'm going to move this one just over just a little bit. Let me fix those holes. Okay, so I just want to bring it over just a little bit. All right, now we are ready to, I'm going to machine sew this, and I'm going to sew it all the way around. So let me get out my sewing machine. All right, so I have mine set on a straight stitch. I'm not going to use zigzag since I'm sewing it into a fabric. And then I have it on 4. And then I also have it on 4 up here. So that's like the basic stitch. All right, so we are going to follow, we're going to start right above that needle. So you want to bring your stitch right above the needle there. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And as I was talking, I kind of went wobbly there, but that's okay. You won't be able to tell anyway. It's a drawstring purse, and it doesn't even open up all the way either, so no worries. And then this is just going to house a cute little tiny journal, and this is what we have so far. Okay, so the next step is I could see where I had the needles in. So, and actually, okay, I'm going to cut off the fabric and match it up to the satin. Or should I do it the other way around? Probably match it to the cotton. Although boy, this is, I went really wobbly over here. See right here. Oh well. Okay, so I'm gonna cut off the extra satin and cotton. Alright, so all I did was trim off a little bit of satin and cotton to kind of line it up better. So let's see, let me grab the lace here, because we're going to sew this beautiful polka dot vintage lace here on the outside of the purse. But first, let's pick out where we're going to do our little slit here. So, let's see, I think I'm going to do this side about right here. So you want to take your slit just in your cotton. So you just want to do a little cut, and don't cut your sewn piece down here. Don't do that. Don't cut all the way down there. Just cut to here. And don't cut your satin. Okay, you don't need to cut your satin. And then come to the other side and kind of line it up. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because your purse is going to be perfect when you're finished. Perfectly antique-y, vintagey looking. So there's the other little cut there. It's very tiny, very small. And then I don't like to pin in my lace either when I sew it, because, you know, oh, gosh, that was loud. Okay, so let's see here. It looks like this is the side, and we want to sew it starting here, going across the top of that cut. Okay, so going across the top of that cut. All right, and I am angling my lace to the outside. So let's just start. Little tiny dainty lace, isn't it? All right. Little tiny stitches. Let's get this going. Okay, we're at the end. I want to get that. Always take your foot off the pedal when you're sewing, when you have to fix something. You want to line it up. And I always go a little over, and then I go back stitch. You are done. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, now I did add another one in there. See, it's still, the satin is so delicate, it's fraying on the edge. So when I sew it, it's just unfraying. So I'm going to sew another little piece right here real quick, and then we will finish up. So always go back and look, because it's so small. I added in a few extra stitches on where it was fraying at. I don't want it to fall apart. So I'm going to fix that one little spot real quick, and then I'll be right back. All right, I am just cutting off the extra threads. You don't want to leave them on your drawstring purses because you're going to pull it. You know, you're going to pull it. So I would cut it. And then let's see. There we go. Extra fun lace there. All right, so remember where our little slits are at. They're right here. And then on the other side right here. And that is where it made our little place where we're going to put our ribbon in. And I do have a couple of safety pins. I don't need 3. I may not even need one there. Okay, so I don't cut my ribbon. I just, what I like to do is fold my ribbon down. Don't cut it off the spool. And if you do, you just, because sometimes I use scrap ribbon to do this. I just make sure it's, you know, long. But this is quite small little drawstring purse anyway. So then you want to bring your safety pin through here. And then you want to kind of like push it along through the bag. Now see, if this was a bigger drawstring purse, I would definitely make a bigger, you know, a wider place where you could put your ribbon in. I mean, you could put pearls in here. You could put lace. I think I've tried all of it, and I like every way you can possibly do making these purses. I love making them with doilies. So stay tuned for that video. I would love to make a doily purse. So then you just want to bring it all the way through and see, here's the start. So just keep gathering it through until you get to the other side, all right? All right, so I came to the end, to the other side. So here's where we started, and to the other side. And just come out the little hole there. And what you want to do, keep this long here, and then keep this here. And what I like to do, so I don't mess up, is just pin this to your project. Because what we're going to do, you could even just pin it in, but you have to pull pretty hard, so you know, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna guess at this point. I'm just going to pull some of it out, because it is a small purse anyway. So I'm just gonna pull some out there and cut it. And then, so I guess you could have cut it. I'm just used to doing such big purses. I leave it on the spool, but you can do whatever you like. And then it's still on the spool. So now I'm going to take another safety pin, And we started on this side, right? So leave that end over there. So now we're going to start on this end and go over there. Okay, so that's what you want to do there. So you want to, let's see here. All right, so we came out of this end. Now we're going to start there for this one. And then you do the same thing. You gather it and you pull it till you get to the other side, all right? All right, so we are at the end. And see, this is the long one over here that we started the first one. And now we're going to come out the same hole. Okay? See? And then, oh, it's already trying to drop. It's like, hurry, put the little mini journal in there. You know what? I didn't even bring her in here. So then you want to just pin it into your project here. All right. So now we have ribbon on both sides, pin on both sides, and you could just use the pins where you don't even have to sew it. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I wonder if it would hold. I'm sure it would eventually rip the ribbon. But I was going to sew it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and sew her in. I'm going to go ahead and kind of like measure out here. All right. So I hope that you were able to follow along there. Let's try and see if we can pin this. You could sew it. So leave these long ribbons off to the side. I'm just curious. Let's just play around, right? So here's the ribbon, the short ribbon. I'm wondering if we can pin it in, because I'm all about, you know, pinning things in. And you could even put gorgeous chiffon on the pin. I'm wondering if it would work. I'm just curious. Let's just try that just to see. Why not? Keep it simple. Okay, so now we're going to pin this one. We could always cut that off if we need to, but what I was going to do was take this here, this, not the long one, the short one, and come up here and sew it in just about that much. So I was going to sew it in on the top line just right there with the sewing machine, but I'm going to try it with a pin because I think it'd be so pretty with this pin in here and with some chiffon on the inside. It would even be pretty on the outside. All right, so just leave those like that because I'll end up sewing it. I don't know if it's going to work because it's ribbon and it may fray and it's already having a hard time. It's already having a hard time. That's why I guess we should sew it, right? We're gonna sew it. I may put pins in there anyway. Because that would be like really cool. That'd be really pretty, wouldn't it? Yeah, see the pin is, there we go. See? Okay. So it did work. It's a little tough. But there's the little purse. Yay, we got it done. But I am going to sew it real fast, and I will show you how real quick. I will show you. And then you could always go back and put pins right here anyway. And then put your little fabric or chiffon or whatever you wish, right? You could even put, but make sure it's not clipping onto the ribbon. So, because that'll stop it from, see there? That'll stop it from closing correctly. You see the ribbon? You don't want to sew this ribbon, just this ribbon up here. So I'm going to grab out my sewing machine one more time and we're going to sew that. Okay, so this is super close up, isn't it? It's always fun hanging out with you all. I'm going to take off this little clip. A pin, it's a pin. I always call it a clip. Okay, where the short ribbon was at, right? And we're going to line it up here. And you just want to sew a little bit. You don't have to sew too much of that right there. I'm still on a straight stitch. I put a few stitches over it to make it extra strong. All right, we are finished. We are finished with the sewing machine now. All right, so this is what we have, if you can see it. I just put a few stitches in at the top. All right, so everybody that has hung in there with me, thank you so much. But here is our little drawstring purse that we did, and I did sew it on the top line there. I've tied it into a regular bow, and then you want to loop it again to put it into a knot, and then just pull tight. Make sure it's, you know, in there. Tight, nice and tight. You want it nice and tight. And then what I like to do is leave a little bit of the end, and then I burn it with a lighter. Let's see, let's cut one at a time. And you know what I've done before too, was I've cut this instead of the end. So you got to be careful. You have to be paying attention. Okay, so let's put our lovely tiny journal in our tiny purse. And I need to hand sew that part. So this is how far it opens. So let's put our little tiny baby journal in here. It's almost like a lace supply journal, isn't it? Hold your little supplies. And then we want to pull tight. Isn't she just so sweet? I love her. Now, and then another thing, you could always decorate with, you know, a tassel here. Let's put a tassel in. So I always use bulb pins, because what I like to do is put it the best you can through the middle there and bring it through here like this, and then bring it to the bottom where you close it right here, and then, except we forgot to put our tassel in there, didn't we? Yeah, it's coffee time. How about coffee, tea, French vanilla time? And some beautiful jazz musics. So that's what I have there. And then what I like to do is tie a little bit of vintage lace. Now this lace is scraps. So I always take scraps and kind of stretch it out just a little bit, just to give it that little tatted look there that we all love. And I always love to tie more lace on the bottom so it drapes beautifully. We need to put a tassel on this bottom one too, don't we? So I usually like to do 2 a piece, but I'll do that off camera. So there we go. There we have it. Isn't she pretty? Isn't she just adorable? Well, I just love her so much. And let's put the tassel on this one, and then we will be done for the day. Now, my next video, I'm going to be showing you the journal sets that go with these tiny journals and tiny antique style drawstring purses. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about it. All right, so let's tie the lace on this one, and I'm going to put the same lace on another piece on both of these too. I would like it a little fuller than what I have them, but I will fix that one part where it's fraying because it's vintage fabric, and I don't want it to keep fraying. So I will hand sew that today and fix that, but I hope that you all got inspired in some way today to make a mini antique style drawstring purse. I hope that this inspired you to get into your craft room today and have a little crafty fun time, right? I love hers so much. They're both just so darling and so special. And I thank you all for being here with me today. This was so fun to do this with you all. So I thank you all, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.